All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming to the talk. It's the last one of the day, so let's push hard and get through this one. I'm trying not to be too boring, but anyways, my name's Ben. I'm the advertising manager for Plenty of Fish. We're an online dating website, the biggest one in the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. And we also have a presence in Brazil, Australia, France, Spain, and Germany. So, pretty big site. We have over 80 million members. But today I'm going to talk about some of the marketing that we do and how we do it. And this is basically the first step of anything. So, what I'm talking about today is how you're paying for the marketing and how you should structure your campaigns based on how you're paying. So, the two models I'm going over today are CPC, which is cost per click, and also CPM, which is cost per mil, which is cost per thousand impressions. Those are two of the most common ones, but you can also substitute CPC for CPA, CPI, CPL. So it's basically performance based, right? I'm gonna go over mostly Facebook for advertising and a little bit of Plenty of Fish as well, just two of the biggest social platforms to buy advertising on. So let's start with Facebook. The most common way to pay for your ads on Facebook is CPC, so cost per click. And you'll notice with Facebook ads, they do run their ads on an algorithm, meaning if you submit a campaign with about 5 ads in it, you'll notice that the performance of all 5 ads is not going to be the same, right? The algorithm for Facebook will select what it thinks is the early best performer out of your 5 ads, and it'll display that ad more so than the other ones, which may be good and may be bad, and I'll go over that quickly. The advantage of that is obviously you get your best performer as what Facebook thinks is your best performer right off the bat, no matter what your targeting is. It'll just figure out what the best CPC ad that you're going to have is. So, in other words, what ad is going to have the highest CTR moving forward based on what Facebook thinks. The downside of that is it won't fully test all 5 of your ads equally. So, the early onset ads may not be the best performing ads long term. So, how do we combat that? One of the ways, if you do have a campaign you want to test with 5 ads in it, is to make multiples of that campaign. So, if it's campaign A with 5 ads, replicate it again with the exact same ads, run that, replicate that again. Basically, trying to more or less trick the Facebook algorithm into selecting more than just that one early ad. So, you give your ads a chance, and that's what we do for our marketing. I will have a campaign and multiply it or replicate it, 5 times, the exact same ads, exact same landing pages, exact same URLs, just to try and get a more even scope for performance of all my ads. Okay. The way you target your ads on Facebook on CPC is going to be different as well. You can get away with a little bit wider or broader targeting on CPC. That way, the algorithm is going to select the best ad for that demographic. Versus CPM, which you really have to narrow down your campaigns to make sure that you don't spend money because on demographics that aren't relevant to the audience because you're going to be paying for the traffic. So from Facebook's point of view and from Plenty of Fish's point of view, the traffic sources want to make the most money from the advertiser. So they're going to want to, in a CPC perspective, run the ad with the highest CTR and gets the most clicks and they make the most money. But we all know that the highest CTR doesn't necessarily equate into the most sales, right? So you got to keep that in mind. Just because your CTR is, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, which is great, you still really have to track it to make sure that that is a ad that's going to perform. So one of the classic ads that will get a high CTR but won't lead to any sales at all from a dating site's perspective is the images that include a little bit more riskier, usually females, when targeting men. So it's usually the sexy girls with large cleavage. It's gonna get a ton of clicks, and you're gonna pay for those clicks, but the intent of the male is not there to sign up for a dating site. They're just kind of curious or whatever it is they are during that time period. So keep that in mind. Just because you have a high CTR doesn't mean you're gonna make sales. And that's from a dating perspective. If we move on to CPM, which is another way to pay for your ads on Facebook and on Plenty Fish, it's the cost per mil, so cost per 1,000 impressions, which means you pay X per 1,000 times that your ads are displayed. So in this instance, there is not really an algorithm to pre-select or try to select an early winner. It just will display your ads for X number of impressions based on what you've paid. So in this instance, you really have to be mindful of your targeting, because if you're selling a product and you think, all of the US would love my product, you're going to actually spend money targeting all of the US, whereas you really want to go for the low-hanging fruit here on a CPM. You want to go for the people who are most likely to purchase or most likely to submit their info for a lead, because it's not based on performance. It's just based on how much traffic you're going to get to your campaign. So in this instance, it's better for testing, because if you do have 5 ads and you spend, let's say, $50 on the 5 ads, it'll go $10 each ad. Whereas with a CPC campaign, with the algorithm, it may go $30 to just the 1 ad and the remainder across your 4 ads. So again, with CPM, be extremely mindful of your targeting. As an advertising manager, one of my responsibilities is to help affiliates get off their feet, make sure they're headed in the right direction, and to reduce as many mistakes as I can. And one of the main mistakes is having targeting that is far too broad. So my recommendation for any new campaign consists of minimum 3 targeting variables. One of them is geography. So, US, or if you want to go tighter than that, in a local area, a state. Next is gender, male, female. And then next is age, to a maximum of a 10-year increment. So you could have US male 20 to 30, US male 31 to 40, so on and so forth. The more granular you get, the better, and the more you can learn about that specific demographic that you're targeting. It's much better to learn a lot about a small demographic than it is to just scratch the surface of a large demographic. And that way you can really target your ads to the specific demographic. And that goes for CPC and CPM. Any questions so far on what we've gone over so far? No? You sure? Nothing? All right. Okay. So I'm going to go into this, if you can see the POF advertising platform, just to show an example of some campaigns. So here we have the POF advertising platform. And it's going to look very similar to Facebook and whatnot, and most of the other social platforms. But you have space to enter your CPM. Again, this is cost per 1,000 impressions. So for example, if I put 50 cents in there, it means I'm paying 50 cents per 1,000 times my ad is displayed. We have frequency caps. These are extremely important. What a frequency cap is the max number of times your ad is going to show to the user. So what you don't want is you don't want to show the same user your ad 100 times a day, right? You're just going to burn through your money. So a good frequency cap that's quite common is 3 per day, or 3 per 24, which means 3 per 24 hours. Or even 3 per hour is good as well. 3 per visit is going to be quite aggressive. It means every time someone logs in, they're going to see your ad 3 times. So if you're just starting out, 3 per hour, 3 per day is pretty good. And that goes for any traffic source. And the targeting options. So with CPM, again, make sure your ads are really targeted. So a typical CPM campaign is going to look like this. Let's say US, gender, age, say greater than 30. And for a lot of new affiliates, Something like this is going to require quite a large deposit to properly test. You do want to learn as much as you can about the demographics. So if you're new and you are budget conscious, we recommend you go in two more targeting options after the age. So if I take myself, for example, I'll do this ethnicity. Where is it? Asian. Oh. And then one more, like has no kids, for example. Okay. So this is going to be a properly set up CPM campaign. It's not going to spend, $4 or $5,000 a day because in the U.S. there just probably isn't that many people in this demographic on POF, right? But what you learn is, oops, you learn more about just this specific type of person, right? So if you're running a campaign against this demographic, you're going to learn, A, what ads work, what pictures work, B, what texts work, and also what landing pages work just for this demographic. And that's what we recommend you start with if you're new, is to start with some of the more niche campaigns. The more niche you get, the lower the spend, but the higher the ROI, generally speaking. Okay. So we have actually a few advertisers on POF who take this strategy and deploy it to 500 or 600 campaigns, each targeting a very specific demographic. Each of them will maybe spend $5 a day, but if you make $10, that's a $5 profit times 500 campaigns. That's a decent amount of profit per day, right? So you can go that demographic based type targeting, or you can go the volume route, right? The volume route is removing the niche demographics, right? And instead of spending $5 a day, you may spend $500 a day, and instead of profiting 1,000, you may profit less, so 800, but still at the end of the day, you still make profit. And these two campaigns really depend on how much time you have, right? If you're an affiliate who has been doing this a while and you're all you care about is volume because you have limited time during the day, you're going to go for something like this. If you're a little bit newer and you are a little bit inexperienced and you may make a few mistakes, it's better to make a few mistakes when you're spending $10 a day as opposed to $100 a day. So go with the niche demographic targeting. Any questions so far? Yep.
Do you guys allow direct linking to offers?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's actually a good discussion that I'll touch upon. So the question was, do we allow direct linking to offers, which means do we allow you to just link right to the thing that's going to pay you, basically, right? Yes, we do, but we usually recommend you do a landing page. Okay. So you do the direct link, you get your conversion rate, right? Let's say it's 5%. You can't change that, right? You can't change what's on the landing, or you can't change what's on the direct link. What you can change is the offer, or the landing page in between click and offer, right? I like to think about it as, when you're walking around the mall and you got these kiosks selling whatever it is they sell. A click is kind of like that person at the kiosk getting your attention to come here. And the direct offer is kind of like them just saying, hey, buy this, right? And there's no real sales process in between. There's nothing getting them excited about the product. Whereas a landing page is a page that goes between click and offer. So that landing page is designed to get that person excited and invested, right? And when you get that energy going to the offer page, then your conversion rates will increase. It can decrease, right? Which is why you should do that direct link test first to see what your base conversion rate is. Then you use the landing page to try and beat that, basically. And with what I've seen, all of the top spending affiliates on POF use landing pages. So, and there's a ton of tricks that you can do with landing, like pop unders and exit pops and all that stuff. But that's a whole other, a whole other presentation. Any other questions? No? Okay, so I got about 3, 4 minutes left, something like that. Don't really know what else you guys want to learn about. But again, a summary, right? CBC. Make sure you create multiple campaigns so that the algorithm doesn't just take the one ad and run all your money towards that one ad. CPM. Be mindful of your targeting. Don't target too broad of an audience because not everyone is going to be interested in the product that you're promoting. Just make sure if you're going to do it systematically. Chop up that big demographic into these little niches, learn a lot about them, and then move on to the next one. And again, the CPC can apply for other things as well that are performance based. So again, like CPI for mobile, so that's cost per install. CPL, cost per lead. CPA, cost per acquisition or action. So, yeah. With POF, yes, you can pass the country, the age, and the gender. Facebook, I'm not too sure as of late. Yeah. Yep.
You mentioned when you started it, Plenty of Fish is one of the largest dating sites in the US.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of you.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of Match, not that I'm on these sites,
Yeah.
but I've heard of Match.com,
Yep.
eHarmony.
Yep.
How comes I haven't heard about you? Where are you at?
We don't spend $100 million on TV, right? The funny thing about Match is they got really deep pockets. We went to go visit Match, and we asked them what their hardware costs were, just to maintain the servers, and just the tech cost is more than the entire Plenty of Fish website for overhead. So I mean, it's a whole different game. They make money off of getting payments from their users. We're totally free, and we make money off the advertising. So it's a different model, and they just got a ton more money than we do to do the TV and stuff like that. But we have more users than they do, right? Because we're free, and that's just the nature of it. Yeah. Yep.
Just help out for a minute.
Yeah.
Probably because, are you married? If you're single, you know about Plenty of Fish. People talk.
Didn't want to toot my own horn, right? Just any other questions then, or? Yeah.
With some of the other channels, you're able to see an inventory size and time marketing.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
An inventory and display, I guess, time of when ads take place, or is it just general editor?
Yeah, we don't. If you're asking about like if we allow you to select certain times when you can run, is that what you're asking for day parting or?
Yeah, kind of, but more like you have an actual inventory, like you can see, like if I can buy 40 million impressions for next Saturday at 3 o'clock,
Right.
or is that granular yet?
No, we don't do that. We do allow you to set a max budget per day, and you can set it to an hourly budget. So, for example, if you have, where is it? Your max spend per day is $24, and you select evenly, it'll spend $1 per hour. That's kind of what you're asking, but no, we don't like just say 8 o'clock spend $100, 9 o'clock spend $20, and something like that. Not through the platform. There are third-party tools that allow you to do that, and if you're interested, I can refer you to a few, but not through the platform. No. Yeah. Yep.
So, what portion of your revenue is generated CPM versus CPC or CPM?
So Plenty of Fish is only CPM, so it's 100% CPM. Yeah.
No CPM.
No. No. The thing about CBC is it is cheaper in the beginning to get your stuff optimized, but CPM in the long run, once you are optimized, becomes cheaper, assuming you can get a good performing ad out of all your tests. So, yeah, the CBC stuff comes with an algorithm, and it's just kind of a headache. Personally, that's my opinion of Facebook. Is just just having to create 5 copies of the same campaign just so you can get a fair test for your ads is, I don't know, not my style. Yeah.
Yeah, so with these targeting options that are related to here,
Mhm.
at the beginning, Plenty of Fish advertisement, do you have like favorites that you recommend to use for like unique targeting options that are only?
Yeah, yeah. So one is browser mobile, right? Make sure if your landing page or your offer page isn't mobile optimized, make sure you exclude, this stuff, the iPad, the iPhone, the Android. Ads clicked is pretty cool. So you can target by the number of clicks that a user has generated on advertising, right? So if you're targeting someone who's been on POF for more than 5 months but have clicked less than 4 ads, then you probably don't want to target that person, right? They're not likely to click on the advertising. Show to converter is really cool. So show to converter means if someone has converted on your offer, you can stop showing your ads to that person, right? And that just kind of auto optimizes everything for you, so you don't spend money on someone who has already clicked on your ad and converted on your offer. Pets is a funny one. We did a lot of diving into the data for pets, and apparently people who own birds are really not likely to find someone, like relative to cat and dog people. So if you're doing dating, you might want to exclude or whatever. Just bird people don't do well with dating. I don't know why that is either. That's just what the data says based on successful couples. Login count is important. So generally speaking, the newer a person is, the more value they are to you. So if we take the dating example, someone who's just signed up for POF hasn't hit banner blindness, meaning they don't know where the ad placements are, so that the ads actually do appear to pop out of the page at them. They're less likely to have converted onto the offer you've already been running, right? There's a limited number of offers out there. You want to get there before your competitor does, right? We find smokers convert almost double the rate of non-smokers as well. Yeah, I think those would be the kind of secret ones that I don't really tell too many people. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, those would be the big ones I think that you should have in every campaign. Yeah. Good question. Yeah. Any other questions? No? All right, well, thanks for your time. I have some business cards out here, and if you have any other questions, I'll stick around for about 20 minutes. But yeah, thanks for coming, and have a great rest of the summit.